Hello, playful souls, and welcome to the week of September 3rd through September 9th of 2023. Today is your reading for the entire week for the weekly forecast, as well as some other things that will happen at the end, which is what we always do to answer any of your questions that come in, whether you want to leave them in the comments or something else that just wants to come into the experience. So let's start off with the first 3 days of the week, which is Sunday, September 3rd through Tuesday, September 5th. Today we are using Alana Fairchild's Sacred Rebels Oracle. This was one of my favorites for a very long time. I have a lot of favorite oracle decks, but this one was very, very helpful in helping me understand the nature of the rebellious side of me. Focus on the light. Focus on the light is the experience of the first 3 days of the week. And I can feel this in my body in a very deep way. We are in the process right now of going through a lot of experiences of retrogrades, a lot of experiences of these different things. So if you feel as if you are maybe spiraling into a darker place, focus on the light, which means try and figure out exactly what the light looks like, what it feels like in your life, and just be like, I'm only going to look at this right now. There's all these other things that want my attention. I'm just going to focus on the light. What does that look like for me? Next. The deck wants to be split in two this week, it feels like. Wednesday, Thursday. The word wants to be written. So if you are writing, like I am, the word wants to be written on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, which is the 6th and 7th of September. What this can also mean is this idea that anything that is creative in your life is wanting to actually be created. So one of the things they say about the paranormal is that when you look into the paranormal looks back at you. I say it's also the same for the creative. When you look into the creative field, when you're looking to create something, it looks back at you. It wants you to create whatever it is. There is a life that wants to come through into this world. There is a force that wants to come through into this world. And so your job on Wednesday and Thursday, after you've been looking at the light on the first 3 days of the week, is to write the word, whatever it is. All right. Next is the last 2 days of the week, which is the Friday and Saturday, the 8th and 9th. And it is Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats. So we can see a lot of experiences in this week of wanting to look at that effervescent flow of life as we know it. And this in particular speaks to the fact that, as you can say, beyond the mind, the heart beats. And if you can look at the imagery, there's a woman who looks like she's underwater, but then there's a galaxy that's close by, which is this understanding of going into the higher worlds that exist within us. And that is what the experience at the end of this week is looking for. So here is the calling for the entire week. Inspiration. If we focus on the light, if the word wants to be written and we write it, and if we go beyond the mind in order to create this connection with the universal all, then that's when we're experiencing inspiration. So in the Rudolf Steiner school, we say inspiration is feeling a breathing in. And when we breathe in, that's when we can experience the fulfillment of life, the fulfillment of something that is deeper and greater inside of us. And this entire week is asking us to inspire, to pull in the energy, the creativity, and to express that in whatever way it wants to. It's calling us, and what better time when a lot of the activity in the world is being halted, or a lot of the progress in the world is being halted, is it saying, okay, this is an opportunity for us to rest now. And so I wanted to talk today about relaxation. Relaxation is something that is a very important concept that we really don't treat for the full weight that it should have in our lives, so to speak. Relaxation says, I fundamentally am relaxed on the physical, emotional, mental, both of the masculine and feminine, spiritual, as well as the karmic, the etheric. All of the bodies are deeply relaxed. And they are deeply relaxed when they are deeply balanced. balance is what creates relaxation, and relaxation is what creates the ability to use all of the tools that we have available to us within our system. So, what does this look like? This looks like, instead of just having my mind think of everything and being an overthinker, I'm actually feeling things. And by feeling things, I naturally create a balance between the mental and the emotional. And then I can relax deeply on an emotional level because I know that my emotional feelings, all of the things that are coming through my emotional body, the energy that needs to flow is being allowed to flow. I'm not afraid of it flowing. And so by doing that, we understand that there is fundamentally something inside of us that is constantly looking for this balance. And if we're overthinking all the time, we're going really far down a road that says it's not okay for us to feel, or it's not okay for us to do something else along the lines of, I just want to be here right now. We're constantly looking for activity. We're constantly looking at ways that we can move and act and progress, very similar to what the reading for this week is saying, which is it's not time to move and act and progress. It is right now time to inspire and create. And so therefore, we have this experience of recognizing that the world is calling us to do what is called this deeply relaxed state, to find this balanced state within us. And one of the best ways that we, as most of us are, especially people that I talk to, and a lot of the playful souls that I experience in my life are very much so very intellectual, very overthinking, very intelligent people, and therefore they usually need to feel. They need to feel that the irrational is worth listening to. And so this week, we're hearing that the word wants to be written, that the creative is asking to come into our lives, that is asking it to come into the space of it, and that is light work, right? The light work, the focusing on the light that we saw at the beginning of the week is very much so what this is asking for, right? Because we can look at shadow work, which is a lot of the mind and kind of going back into the history, the legacy shadow of times when we didn't feel. Right? That's going into the past to see where we didn't feel. But right now, what's being asked is that in this moment, where is the light? Like, yes, you may have been bad at it yesterday or last month or last week, or 10 years ago, or as a child, you may have been very bad at being able to handle your big feelings, right? You may have been, ignored them and pushed them out and tried to think of ways that they didn't make any sense. And that is shadow work, right? In all of its different guises, with all of the different ways that we can access it. Right now, what's being asked is that you don't necessarily do any shadow work this week, right? Like you're not needing to go into the past like that. What's being asked is that you look at the light right now. What is your light work? Your light work is allowing your emotional body, that energy that wants to flow through your energetic body, through that emotional body. That is being asked to be unleashed, to be fully felt. That is our light work. It's creating. It's this experience of creating. We're not going into the tender, vulnerable part or the victim part or any of those things that exist in the past. Right now, we're just saying, I am here to create. That's it. I am just here to create this week. And I am going to, whatever wants to be created will be created. And I'm looking beyond the mind. I'm looking into the emotional body. So this week, really emphasize the need to just experience the world that it is, and don't try and progress anything. Don't try and move anything. Recognize when you feel uncomfortable. Recognize when you're feeling this intense state of wanting to move out of the feeling. And readjust, because this week is for feeling. This week is for creating. It's not for going back and inventorying our faults. It's not for experiencing lots of past trauma, even though art can be used as a form of shadow work in which we're able to pull up, 10 times the amount of grief and sadness by creating a picture about grief and sadness that we're feeling in this moment. That's not necessarily the point. The point is just to create. So, what are you going to do? Thanks, y'all.